You know what? I like to hope the best years of my life are still ahead. I'm just enjoying the ones on the way.
Oh,
That's well said.
cute. It's a
I
cute
read that in a fortune cookie. Then I choked on the egg roll. Fuck.
And welcome back.
Welcome back.
Rough draft research in the Heezy.
Feels good to be in the house.
Yep. The gurus are in the house. All but one, I guess, who is in his own house.
I'm in
But
a
here in
house.
spirit.
He's in a house.
Well, we've come to the last episode of Division Breakdowns. But as you know, before we go in to the AFC North, we gotta
Go out to the AFC South. We got to stack
NFC North. Oh, jeez.
NFC North.
Well, there's my intro.
Woo!
Nailed it. The NFC North. It feels like it was yesterday. And it pretty much was. No, it was 6 days ago, last Wednesday. Here we go. All right, we're doing what we always do. It's a throwback to last week's episode where we go through the division and identify a positional front runner for each division. Every time I say it, it ends up redundant. So here we go. Let's talk about the quarterbacks, fellas. Oh, shit. Oh, I forgot what division we're doing here.
Hey.
You got Justin Fields. You've got Jared Goff. There's Aaron Rodgers and
Kirk
Cousins. Or Kurt Cousins if you're a GM for the Washington football team.
Yeah. Indeed.
So, MVP much? What are we talking about here?
Yeah. I mean, there's an argument to be made that Kirk is in a more known offense and the chance of Rodgers' weapons kind of screwing him are higher than Kirk's, but like it's fucking Aaron Rodgers also.
Yeah.
So
I think my only concern is like Rodgers getting so upset with this year, just being like, all right, I'm done. I'm out.
he'll just need to go to South America during the bye week.
There you
It'll
go.
be all right.
I think he can afford enough money. He can't take ayahuasca in his own mansion. Like,
How illegal is it?
It's a class 2, right?
That sounds fine.
yeah, you tell us, fucking Oregon boy. You got it all memorized.
Oh, you don't have your laminated
I don't even know if
chart?
that's right. I don't even know if it makes sense, to be honest. I
Schedule
said it
2?
because it sounds right.
Class 2?
I moved to Oregon and smoked weed. I know my rights.
That's right.
But
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, this is, Dynasty style. I had the same reservations trading for Romeo Dobbs. I was like, oh, what happens next year? We'll see what happens. But
I mean, that's fair, but
he's
picked Tom Brady, so
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's earned this spot. So now we get into the running back conversation, and this one is a little thick, Obviously, you got DeMont, who's, every bit of a bell cow. And then you've got Big Chef.
Big Chef.
Big Chef.
Dalvin Cook.
Ty Chandler.
Oh, wow. You got DeAndre Swift, who, damn, it is Dynasty. And then you got Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon combo. So this place is riddled with some, man. Like, we're stomping out. Like, these guys could do some damage in some of these other divisional debates. But,
Oh, yeah.
and this one in particular, I don't know, man. I have my opinion.
It's Swift.
I think it's Swift as well.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think it's
not a
Swift.
believer in Swift, but it's just
I am a believer in Swift, and as much as I love Aaron Jones and Dalvin Cook, for that matter, and I think they all three are right there. I mean, I just think Swift has the potential to be, like I said it last week on the podcast, I think he has RB1 potential, and he's the youngest out of the bunch. So I just think it makes the most sense.
True that.
Yep, the Lions are actually, for once in their franchise, actually building towards something. Building from the line out, like Christian always says. So that can only be good for a running back, right?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
It's good for everyone. Well, good for the goose, good for the gander. Here we go. Wide receiver, this one seems pretty easy.
Oh, yeah.
JJ.
Justin.
Oh my gosh, are we going to finally do it?
Jefferson. Oh, yeah.
I think we might finally do it.
We could do it.
Are we going Cole Kmet here?
No. Come on. The TJ Hawkinson disrespect this offseason is insane to me. Come on.
Well, you just got all those weapons in town. Quentin Cephas and Amon Ra.
Yeah. And,
Hey, if DeAndre Swift's going to get all those slot receptions, man, that's coming out of TJ's pocket, bro.
I will concede Komet if that's what we must, but I want it on the record.
It's got to be Hockley's.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's all good. Although Komet's the dream, man. He's a sleeping giant. But
you can get him late, and he could roll, but, like, I don't know. I wouldn't put him as the best yet. How many catches did he have last season?
I think it was like 68 or something like that.
I guess it's better than I expected. Yeah. I don't know. It seems early for Komet. But I'm down on the Bears. So
Bears. It was only 60, but there's no touchdowns. So
hey, Kyle Pitts style. Love it.
Yeah, don't you know there.
All right. Well,
shoot.
All these young tight ends not scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, it's just not their game, you know. It's just not my bag.
All right, man. So shall we dive in?
Let's delve in.
Let's do it.
Delve in.
Shall we delve into this?
Yes, sir. Let's start AFC North. We're going to start with the Pittsburgh Steelers, where we got Mike Tomlin at the helm, at the head coaching position. So I'm just going to kind of go over some of his accolades because he's got a lot of them. So 2006, he was brought in by Brad Childress to be the Vikings defensive coordinator. Oh. Funny enough, Sean McDermott already serving there as a defensive backs coach, the head coach for the Bills. But that's not the first time these two have served together on the field, as we know. Both attending William and Mary as college teammates, where Tomlin played wide receiver, McDermott played defensive back, and they frequently went at each other. Also, Brian Dable, William, and Mary as well. And
Thomas Jefferson, right?
Thomas Jefferson. I read that as well.
How far are we going back here?
I read this whole article, man. So, let's see. So, when the Steelers defeated the Baltimore Ravens in 2008 AFC Championship game, Mike Tomlin becomes the youngest NFL head coach to lead his team to a Super Bowl. January 2009, Mike Tomlin named 2008 Motorola NFL Coach of the Year. Then February 2009, Tomlin becomes the youngest head coach to win a Super Bowl when they defeated the Arizona Cardinals, beating the previous record held by John Gruden. 2011, Tomlin won his 50th game as a Steeler head coach. He is only the fourth of the 16 Steeler head coaches to do so. In 2012, Tomlin led the Steelers to a victory over the New York Jets in the home opener to become the first coach in team history to win his first 6 home openers.
Wow.
2014, Tomlin orchestrated one of the top offensive outputs in team history. The Steelers broke numerous offensive records, including points scored, 436, total yards, 6,577, passing yards per game, 301.6, and total first downs, 379. In 2016, he reached his 100th career win and did so in the fewest games, 157.
That's pretty impressive.
Very. He became the 8th coach in NFL history to reach 100 regular season wins in his first 10 seasons. 2017, Tomlin led the Steelers to a 13-3 record, including a 6-0 record against the AFC North, securing his 6th division title. Not bad. Tomlin then has led the Pittsburgh Steelers to 145 wins, 78 losses, and 1 tie in the regular season, becoming the team's head coach in 2007, the second best record in the NFL during that span, and the best start in franchise history. And that's saying a lot under some of the coaches we've seen there. So, and then finally, 2021, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Baltimore Ravens in overtime in the last regular season game to finish 9-7-1. And this secures Mike Tomlin's 15 consecutive non-losing season, which means, if you count it right, he's only had 15 seasons coaching the NFL. So, no non-losing seasons, beating out Marty Schottenheimer for that record.
Just in time.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty, like, as I kept going, I had to cut a bunch of stuff out, otherwise I would have gone forever. But, man, impressive dude.
Yeah.
Tomlin's one of my favorites, man.
He's going to be a Hall of Famer, for sure. For sure.
Oh, definitely. So let's talk about the offensive line.
Ooh, speaking of Hall of Famers.
Well, this is where he fucked up this season, though, Mike Tomlin, my friend. I don't know. It's not as bad as I thought going into the season. They're still ranked 30th in the preseason rankings by PFF for offensive line play, so that's not great. My problem is that they didn't address it in the draft, I guess. You need the quarterback. All right, fine. Kenny Pickett makes sense. Got to do it. George Pickens already looking like a superstar, so if that happens, all right, you get a pass there. You need a superstar wide receiver. Pair him with your young quarterback. That's brilliant. Did we really need Connor Hayward, the tight end fullback combo, or for that matter, Calvin Austin? You couldn't have got any young offensive lineman in there during the draft. I don't know. Seemed like an oversight to me. They didn't take a single offensive lineman in the draft. Not one. That's crazy to me. They made a couple signings that are nice. To give them some credit. James Daniels was a good signing. He'll help him out at guard. Mason Cole, he's going to be a lot better for Najee Harris than he is going to be for Mitchell Trubisky or Kenny Pickett at center. But, hey, still an upgrade. But that still means Pittsburgh's returning their left tackle, right tackle, and left guard, who all earned less than a 65 grade last season. So it's not great. It's not great when you have a young quarterback or Mitchell Trubisky, who famously isn't that great against pressure. So I don't love the offensive line, but they've got pieces. I just feel like next year you have to invest in the offensive line through the draft. You have to if you're Pittsburgh.
Yeah, especially if you're going to make a go of it with Kenny Pickett, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
Well,
sounds like...
Do we know that?
Oh, well, I mean, Mitchell Trubisky has been named a team captain and the starter. So, and he's kind of used to not having a great offensive line a little bit. So, we'll see what happens.
Real shit when he didn't.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not like he's a superstar. He peaked at the quarterback 15 in 2018. So that's fun. Then he went hung out with the Bills. Maybe he learned a few things from Josh Allen. Who knows? But
Maybe. Probably not.
Well, you mean Ken Dorsey?
Hey, Kenny D. Can't forget about old Kenny D. But this is Pittsburgh we're talking about, So he comes in there. They were fourth in pass attempts last year and also tied for fourth lowest yards per attempt. So he's got plenty of room to throw less passes for more yards and kind of break even with what Big Ben was doing there. We'll see if that actually happens. He has a career average of 6.7 yards per attempt, which is better than Big Ben's last 3 years. So that might help him out. Might slot him in to do some decent stuff. I feel bad, Allen Robinson, but like this is better support staff as far as skill position weapons than he had in Chicago ever.
I agree. I think Mitch can start the season pretty well for you. If this line holds together. My issue with the Pittsburgh is I think it does come down to who's going to handle pressure more, because there's going to be pressure. And I don't know if I would ride with Mitch in that argument between him and Kenny Pickett, because Mitchell Trubisky's grade against pressure for his entire career is 35. So he's just not good against pressure, and this line isn't going to do him any favors. So I like Mitch's potential. Like you're saying, he has the good supporting cast. I just don't know if he's going to be able to handle it for long stretches. And I think at some point, Kenny Pickett comes in and takes over. So I wouldn't necessarily want to bank on Mitchell Trubisky, but I do think he could help you in the early season in a super flex.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how just kind of bouncing around and it's I mean, he's coming from a pretty decent coaching staff there in Buffalo, and then we all know what he was dealing with his first couple of years with Matt Nagy. So now he's with Tomlin and that staff in Pittsburgh. It's kind of, they've always been really solid. So
yeah, big time.
It's got, it's nothing to lose. He's not on his rookie deal. He's not supposed to be the future of the franchise. He's just there playing some ball. So I got faith in him, man. But like you're saying, down the stretch, I think, Kenny Pickett gets to the point where he can play a little bit of ball. You can't just draft a guy that high and make him watch Mitchell Trubisky play football, right? So, I mean, unless this is Nickelodeon, and then we go for the GAC. So, but speaking of what else is going on here, I remember, Mitchell Trubisky did some good things with a guy named Tariq Cohen, right? So it makes me excited to see what Najee can come up with, especially after having that rookie year as a running back 3 with 1,200 rushing yards and 94 targets. So if Mitch can be dumping off to Tariq Cohen, there's no way he can't be dumping off to Najee Harris.
Yeah.
No competition in this backfield.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that you're with me, because have you seen this weird flush of people that are like down on Najee Harris? Have you been noticing this lately? I don't get this. Like, he was only the RB3 because he got so many touches. He wasn't that efficient. He got that many touches because he was the only reliably good part of the Steelers offense. Like,
right.
That's why he got that many touches. Now you do have a little bit better of a line, and he already proved it that he did it behind a terrible line. And then you replace the QB. Last year he had a guy that had replaced his arm with a pool noodle. Now you bring in, like you're saying, somebody that can actually push the ball down the field, make defenses back up a little bit. It's going to give Najee more room. I think he's going to be more efficient this season. I guess my point is, if you're down on Najee, give me a call, because let's talk trade.
Hey, he fell to – I was the 12th pick in my redraft.
That's crazy to me.
And got Najee there.
Nice.
That's crazy to me.
I
think Najee Harris is going to crush it.
Yeah, I do as well, man. I mean, the guy is big, 6'1", 232, and he's catching 74 balls. He's ready to roll.
Yeah.
He's going to make it happen. And speaking of making it happen, they finally made it happen for Deontay, man. They got the guy a 2-year deal.
Hey,
I mean, shit, I didn't know what was going to go down with that. I was scared, man. I mean, sure, he kind of come from nowhere and did big things, but that's kind of the Pittsburgh way,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the wide receiver 8 last year, that's pretty amazing. 169 targets. Feels like a hard number to reproduce.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But, I think the step down in production without Big Ben is going to happen, but he's still an everyday wide receiver. Deontay will be taking care of you. I do not think I don't know, man. I'm kind of scared. I don't want to make any bold predictions, but I think he's outside the top 20 for me this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a lot of it's got to do with the excitement around Pickens, man. George Pickens coming in here, and he's looking like the truth. I mean, I've seen the film. The guy is pretty amazing. AJ, he's very, very excited about it. So, I mean, there's nothing you can really say about a guy who hasn't done it on film, in the NFL. So we don't really speculate too hard on rookies at this time of year. But
I mean, we just have to hope he's not an alien, because he's a weird dude. That's my only issue with him, is that he's gonna do some weird shit and get in trouble. But yeah, he's looking like he's gonna be the guy there. But I guess my question for you is, I'm not as worried about Deontay Johnson. I'm worried about Chase Claypool.
Oh,
because
sure.
I see the situation where Pickens gets Claypool's targets from last year, which he got 105 as a rookie. That'd be pretty good for a wide receiver too when you have Deontay there. And then Chase Claypool goes down and gets Ray McLeod's numbers at 66 targets. Like, that's kind of what I more see happening, because as much as the hype is about Pickens, he's still a second round rookie. You know, like I don't see him getting 100. I don't see him overtaking Deontay that much.
Oh, no. I just think it's more of a well-rounded thing. 169 targets just
Well,
seems
yeah,
like
that's coming down. I agree with you there.
maybe closer to
I just-
130.
Yeah, which I just
120.
think Deontay could still put up numbers and be. I think I'm with you. I think he falls out of the top 10, maybe like 16, 17 range for me. So I'm not that far off on you. But
All right.
I just think Claypool gets buried this year.
Yeah, man, everyone thinks old Claypool's cooked, you know? Like his rookie year, he was the steal of the draft, right?
Yeah.
It was amazing. And people were like, oh, yeah, Mapletron. They were calling him Mapletron. You guys
Forgot
remember
about
that shit?
Mapletron.
Well, guess what he did? He come back his second year in the league, and he put up identical freaking numbers. Yards, yards per catch, targets, catches, extremely close. The only difference is he went from 9 touchdowns to 2 touchdowns.
That's
So
huge.
I'm like, how are you going to be that far out on a guy who finishes a wide receiver 37 with only 2 touchdowns? Like he's really close to still being relevant.
Ask the Steelers that question. Why
Yeah.
are they so out on him that they went and got George Pickens?
I mean, they got to look out for the future of their franchise. They
I
didn't
guess
know
that's
that
fair,
they were
too.
getting Deontay on an extension when they made that
Yeah, I
move.
guess that's fair.
So
I don't know. I just feel like Pickens and Claypool are closer to the similar type of player than Deontay. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
you're right. Deontay is small. He's a small guy. And I look at Pickens. I think he's like your average size, like prototypical alpha. And then you got your big guy who can do some really good
I
contested
guess.
catch stuff. But I mean, that is also kind of what we saw. The real reason he didn't get those touchdowns is because Pat Freiermuth got 7 touchdowns with 79 targets. You know, finishes a tight end 13 as a rookie, and you know he was tied for ninth in red zone targets in the league.
yeah.
You know, Deontay was tied for 8th, or actually he was standalone 8th with Freiermuth having one less, being tied for 9th. So basically, what we're seeing is Claypool's red zone work got outsourced to the new tight end. And if there's any kind of a rebalancing, I don't know, man. I don't want to get crazy. I don't want to spend too much time talking about Pittsburgh, but I just think there's a point where Claypool is still relevant.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I guess I'm more scared of Claypool than I am worried about Deontay Johnson.
I know, dude. He's huge. Deontay's like 5'10". I'd be way more scared of Claypool as well. I'm with you. With you. But yeah, tell me about the defense.
I mean, death, taxes, and Pittsburgh and Baltimore having good defenses. I don't know. Like, it just is what it is. Miles Jack is a signing. I did not realize that happened, and I'm really curious as to why more people aren't talking about that. Miles Jack's a really good player. Devin Bush didn't have that good of a season last year, but if he returns to form this season, Miles Jack and Devin Bush is a pretty nasty middle. I really like that. But at the end of the day, as long as TJ Watt is TJ Watt, this team is going to be fine. Like, their secondary, well, not really their secondary. Their safeties look great. Their corners look like a weakness, but it seems like that all the time. And again, Pittsburgh's always good. So I don't know. I think they're going to be like a top 12 defense this year, around that, just like they typically are every year. They have the potential to be higher. I don't know. It just is what it is. I really just want to shout out Cam Hayward. Since 2017, he's not had a season grade lower than 84 through PFF. Future Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Doesn't get the credit he deserves on a regular basis. So I don't know. It's a studded defense. There's superstars at every level. Defensive line, linebackers, Minka Fitzpatrick in the secondary.
Yeah, boy.
Pick your poison.
Dolphins, idiots.
Yeah, that was. It baffles me how many people thought that was a bad trade when it happened. I was like, what? That's a player you want for a first round pick. Is exactly
They took
that.
him with the first round pick,
Yeah, like didn't make any sense.
And it was like the 17th pick in that year or something like that.
Yeah, like
it wasn't even like, well. Well,
All right. Yeah. On to Cleveland then.
yes, sir. Ohio.
Yay, there we go. Ohio's for lovers.
Cleveland rocks, baby.
Hawthorne Heights.
Well, we are exactly, baby. So cut my wrist in black. Never mind. So Kevin Stefanski. So
KS.
this guy, well, he started his NFL career in 2006 with the Minnesota Vikings alongside Mike Tomlin
Oh my gosh.
as well, and
Sean
Sean McDermott.
McDermott.
Yeah, very interesting. So Brad Childress,
played poker
the
together.
defensive coordinator from Philly who got hired that year, is the one who brought all these guys in. So somewhat under his tree, I guess, even though he was quite unsuccessful in Minnesota. He did get promoted to the assistant quarterback coach that first year, working with Brett Favre. As we all know, that 2009 season, the only one worth it. Then 2014-15 promoted to the tight ends coach. That's where we saw Pro Bowl tight end Kyle Rudolph. You know, he had his run for a few years. Then promoted over to the running backs coach. Not the great showing. This was prime Adrian Peterson, but this was his year that he missed 13 games due to injury. So you were leaning on Jerick McKinnon, Matt Asiata. Then 2017-18, on to the quarterbacks coach. So this guy's kind of done it all, man. That's the first year under Pat Shermer, who we saw him bounce around the NFL as a head coach there for a second. That was also the Case Keenum year. If anyone is a Vikings fan and remembers how magical that was up until the NFC Championship game, hashtag fuck Nick Foles. Sorry. 2018 interim offensive coordinator, 2019 on to the offensive coordinator, his first crack at that role. They posted a 10-6 record, had their first playoff win since 2005, defeating the Saints. That's the same year. Cousins set a single season career high for passer rating, fourth best in the NFL, also second most passing yards in his career, and also passer rating, and that was in Vikings history as well. We also saw Dalvin Cook come out, be the 8th player in Vikings history to rush for 1,000 yards in a single season since Adrian Peterson, despite missing 2 games. And then we saw Stephon Diggs set a career high with 1,100 receiving yards. So offense definitely took a step up under Stefanski. 2020 becomes the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. The Browns finished 11-5, clinching their first winning season since 2007.
Ooh.
And their best since the reactivation in 1999. They also ended their franchise record in league-high 18-year playoff drought, making it to the playoffs the first time since 2002. That we saw Baker, about 3,500 yards, 26 touchdowns. Chubb and Hunt combining for 1,900 yards. And 2021, I just wrote here, he decided Baker was a chump, landed Deshaun Watson to the biggest contract in NFL history, going from lovable, want-to-root-for coach to jerk-off defender.
Oh.
Hey.
Like what I did there?
You really took us for a roller coaster with that one, man.
Yeah.
You took me back to the Baker Cleveland Jesus moments,
Yeah, dude.
What a
And
wild
then
ride.
Out
And
of
then
nowhere.
And then you had a happy ending at the end. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Nice. Love it. So let's talk about that offensive line. Nice.
It's a top 3 line if it's healthy. They lost Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin last year, which is a massively talented pair of tackles to lose at the same time. So they're going to get those guys back. So they're bringing back hopefully everyone on their offensive line except J.C. Tretter, underrated center, former Packer, played with the Browns, is now retired. He kind of solidified that powerhouse starting 5. So they're losing him. Nick Harris steps in. hasn't played a ton, so it's kind of up in the air how he's going to play. But if that's your only weak point and you smash that between Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, they're going to be able to help that center out quite a bit because those are two of the best guards in the league. So having two of the best guards in the league and two of the best-ish tackles in the league, one and Jedrick Wills is, and then Jack Conklin, getting a little older, but he's still in that conversation. So yeah, this is going to be a great line as long as everybody stays healthy. But we saw last year what that injury did, so they're still not that deep. So if something were to happen, it could screw them up in an offense that already is going to have some issues.
Oh, you telling me this offense is going to have some issues? You telling me there's going to be some issues? Oh, what a beautiful thing, man. Yep. Let's see. Shall we start at the top, or where are we going with this? You telling me they got a great offensive line?
Oh, yeah.
So really what's good. That mean? Does that mean Jacoby Brissett's going to come in and kick some ass?
I would be willing to bet no.
That's no. Ooh, well, he had 3 games as a starter there in the middle of the beginning of last season where he did all right, scoring 19, 13, 15 fantasy points, couple touchdowns, not too many picks. And yeah, this team's going to suck. So here we go. What we got that for the first 12 weeks with the possibility of Kellen Mond sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
So
with Jacoby Brissett, yards per game on his career, by the way, just want to throw this stuff out there so we can really drive it home how exciting this offense is going to be. 209 yards per game. I also did that. I did his starts, and then I just did all his career total yardage. So like even the games where he came in extra, I added that shit in, and it still only came out to 209 yards per game. He started 37 games, and he's thrown 36 touchdowns. Also, that's including any game he came in halfway. So that's not even including just his starts.
Oof.
That's the kind of excitement you're going to get. I'm out on any receiving threats for the Browns for the foreseeable future until next year, I guess.
All right, let's do the defense. So Nick Chubb... Nick Chubb finishes as the running back 13 in 14 games last year, and he topped out as a running back 8 in 2019. We do this every year, right? Nick Chubb's the best pure rusher in the league still, right? There's no better one, Jonathan Taylor, but but that's all right. I can make an argument for James Conner at this point. But anyway, I won't. I'm just joking. You got the cereal box? No, you don't.
No, I got the pop for him.
Yeah, hell yeah. Represent for you, Chubb. We love you, man. We want you to be in the single digits. And what better time than now? This is going to be a garbage offense as far as passing goes for at least the first 12 weeks. So Nick Chubb, unlock the chubby shit. All right, that's kind of weird.
Good Lord.
I think he's great.
My only worry is that the passing game not being a threat at all kind of ruins Chubb and Hunt. Because, okay, I'll stack 9 guys in the box and dare you to beat me with Jacoby Brissett. And until you do it, which odds are you won't, I'm not really that worried. I'm going to stop Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So that's what I'm worried about, but they are talented enough to get around it.
Yeah, and I think that Kevin Stefanski has done a good enough job, scheming plays to do enough change of direction.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why that's why Kareem Hunt gets all these long rushes because he comes in and they slide out for some zone option pass stuff, and then he just cuts up the middle and gets a 30-yard rush.
That's true.
And then they're in the red zone. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I just wish I could still root for the team.
You don't have to.
This is why I liked him.
Yeah.
Stuff like that because it's fun to watch.
32 teams, man. You can't be cheering for all of them.
That's fair.
So.
I find myself, though, just side note, and then we can get back on. Since doing this podcast, I do find myself rooting for more and more teams. I don't really hate teams anymore because there's just players everywhere that I like, and I want to root for them. So I
Same.
don't know.
Yeah, I love all football.
Except
even
the Bears.
more. Except the Bears. You know, I'm not even going to get into it with you fellas.
Even then, I wouldn't mind seeing Justin Fields do well after what he put up with Matt Nagy. Obviously,
That's
not when he
true.
plays Green Bay.
Nah.
I'd watch
Okay.
him fuck up the Vikings. That'd be
You guys
fine.
had a whole episode last week.
Oh.
Whole
You're right.
episode.
You're right.
You're
You're
right.
right.
Remember that time they opened the season with the Bears in Green Bay and they almost won and then
Wait, I wouldn't mind seeing Justin Fields fuck up the Packers. Oh!
Oh! Alrighty. All right, that's
just
enough. This is
reworded
why
my
they're in
joke there.
separate houses. We can't just be in the same room anymore with this kind of energy. So, all right, so we know what it is. It's Kareem Hunt and it's Nick Chubb. You know, they're two juggernauts trapped on one football team that is extremely one-dimensional, and the defenses are aware of what's coming at them, so it might hurt them. But we do have to remember that the fantasy season lasts 17 weeks, thereabouts, and therefore down the stretch, there's potential for these guys to really get electric and go off. Nick Chubb famously misses a couple of games. You know, you could be an idiot like me and trade him during a time like that, which I'm still fine with it. It doesn't matter. But
That's not a bad trade.
yeah, so just look out for the buy low opportunities if this offense is as bad as everyone's expecting it to be. But why would they be so bad? You know, the savior has arrived. Amari Cooper is in the house. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm giddy. Speaking of people I traded last week. Anyway, so Amari Cooper was a wide receiver 27 in 15 games last year. And he topped out as a wide receiver 10. And that was before CeeDee Lamb was on that team. So what are you going to do? He pretty much has 100 targets every year. Sometimes he gets up to the 130 range. I'm just struggling to see where that comes from, even though on this team there's 229 targets available if you consider the workload of Rashad Higgins, Travis Landry, Austin Hooper, and Odell Beckham Jr. It's just hard for me to picture one guy and the way this is set up with Brissett and the run game really getting up to 100 targets. Last year, the target leader was Jarvis Landry with 87. The prior year, Jarvis Landry, 101. So what's going on here? You know, you've been expecting a 200 fantasy point season from Amari Cooper, in and out, just kind of a fringe wide receiver 2 with upside games. And yeah, you got you might have an upside as a wide receiver 2, and the downside is like you just got
Real
3
bad.
points. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got one
Well,
20-yard catch or whatever.
Not to just keep harping on Brissett, I guess, but in the 2 seasons that Brissett had significant playing time, 11 or more games, he's never produced a 1,000-yard receiver, and he's never produced a guy that caught more than 5 touchdowns. So that spells disappointment for the first 11 weeks. But to your point, you get a guy like Amari Cooper, and then Deshaun Watson shows up around playoff time. They build a little chemistry, and you might have somebody there behind a great offensive line with a powerful running game. He could save you in the end of the year. I just would bench him until we see what he does with Brissett, because I'm not confident in this offense. And then you have the question I'm going to ask you guys. Let's say it goes real bad for the Browns, right? Like, let's say they've won 3 games by week 11, and they're 3-8. Do you even play Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
Do you?
I think you have to just so he can get chops, but
Yeah.
are you trying to win those games? I don't know.
Well, that, but also like you just get fully guaranteed him for the next, what was it, 5 years, 6 years? What if he gets hurt? You guys are 4-9 playing against Baltimore, who's fighting for a playoff spot, and they just rip his legs off. Now you're fucked. Like,
That's karma.
I mean, for sure, but like thinking logically, you would think like, man, if we really suck, I don't know, I wouldn't. That'd be tough. But yeah, but then he wouldn't play for 2 years too. So I guess you have to at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
You may not have to make him play full time, but you're definitely willing him out there.
yeah,
You're definitely looking for some fireworks just to keep butts in the seat at that point.
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
But You know, I heard you talking about a savior down the stretch. I think you were talking about David Bell. Is that correct?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I thought you were about to talk about another David.
Oh yeah, there are a couple of David saviors here. I'm going to reiterate. I do think David Bell will be the wide receiver 1 on this team this year. I've said that before. I'm saying it again. It's starting to look more and more like a real thing. But let's not forget, Donovan Peoples-Jones does exist. He's the wide receiver 65 last year, and you know his yards per catch are like 21 his rookie year, 17 and a half last year. That's pretty solid. It kind of makes him the deep threat in this offense, which is just a weird thing to even picture. But Deshaun really likes a deep threat, so that could work out. I don't know. He's practically free right now, so just putting it out there. And then you got David Njoku, tight end 23 last year, tight end 9 in 2018, worth more money than to Cleveland than I think anyone else thinks he's worth.
Ever? I don't know what the fuck's going on there.
Yeah, defense me, dude.
All right.
I've got a Cleveland, you know.
Yeah, so the pass rush should be great. Obviously, you got Myles Garrett there, and then Clowney is weirdly kind of the perfect complement to Garrett. Their styles are nice together. But they added Chase Winovich, which I think is a decent, like, kind of rotational piece behind those guys. Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome are my second favorite star cornerback with a promising second-year duo in the NFL. I think they're really, really nice together. And they're just great. The secondary should be sick. The safeties are a little weak. They paid Jalen Johnson a lot of money, and he didn't really perform to that. So he needs to step that up, but like he should have help. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, or JOK for short, he was great his rookie season. And that's great considering the worst part of the Browns defense was their rushing defense. So he can kind of anchor that, and they can build around him. He can be kind of in the middle of Swiss Army knife for them. My worry about this defense is the offense. It's been exactly what we're talking about with the Browns. I feel like they could end up being put in a lot of really bad spots by the offense not being able to stay on the field. 3 and outs, turnovers, poor positioning for defense, like field positioning. So that worries me, but they have the talent to be a really good defense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Hell yeah.
Well, you got anything to add to that, or shall we go to Baltimore?
I think I'm ready for Baltimore.
Baltimore?
Yeah.
David Baltimore?
I don't know. David Baltimore.
Nope. All right. We're going to talk. We got John Harbaugh in the house there in Baltimore, but let's talk about the offensive coordinator, Greg Roman. So I want to give some assurances to this rushing attack.
Okay.
It all starts back in 95 to 2001, where he's an offensive line assistant for Carolina. 2002, 2005, tight ends and quarterbacks coach for the Houston Texans. When he transitioned to the quarterback coach, he guided former number 1 overall pick David Carr to his best NFL season. Baltimore Ravens picked him up 2006, 2007 as an offensive line assistant.
Oh.
And then he went to Holy Spirit High School in 2008 to be an offensive coordinator. And I think that's where he learned it all, boys. 'Cause it's nothing but uphill from here.
Oh, good.
He then got asked to come on to Stanford from 2009 to 2010 as a tight ends coach and offensive tackles coach. Mind you, spent 2 seasons coaching under Jim Harbaugh. Not to be confused with John Harbaugh. 2011 to 2014, he was the San Francisco offensive coordinator when he was brought in by Jim Harbaugh. And this was the pretty good time frame for the 49ers. They went 49-14. They played in the NFC Championship game 3 years in a row, earning a Super Bowl bid in 2012.
Oh, what happened?
The Har Bowl.
Is that the lights out one?
Yep, where it was Harbaugh versus Harbaugh. The Colin Kaepernick taking over the Alex Smith. So 2015 to 16, he was hired by Rex Ryan and helped The Buffalo Bills offensive attack excelled in its first year, guiding the unit whose rushing attack was 25th the year previous to number 1 in rushing yards per game, 152. Not bad. So 2017 comes over to Baltimore to be a senior offensive assistant and tight ends coach. 2018, assistant head coach and tight ends coach. This is where we saw a rushing attack of 152 yards a game, finished second in the NFL. They won the AFC North. We saw Mark Andrews' rookie season kind of pop.
Oh, yeah.
And in a good way.
Pop in a good way. I like that. Blow up.
And in 2019, he became the offensive coordinator, which he is retained that position today. 2019 posted the best offensive season in team history, producing a franchise best 14-2 record, AFC North Division title. We're talking Lamar Jackson MVP year, ranked number 1 in points with 33.2, rushing yard 206 a game, and ranked number 2 in total yards, 407 yards a game. He was the NFL Assistant Coach of the Year. Then for the second straight season in 2020, the Ravens' rushing attack led with rookie J.K. Dobbins, who had a rookie record of 9 touchdowns. For the second straight year, we also had Lamar Jackson doing Lamar Jackson things. We had Lamar Jackson rush for 1,000 yards, Dobbins 805, and Gus Edwards for 723. So only the second team in NFL history to have 3 rushers over 700 yards. That was the Panthers back in the day. And then in 2021, Baltimore's offense finished 6th in the NFL with 378 yards per game, with a run game that ranked 3rd, 145 yards a game. That was between Lamar Jackson, Devonta Freeman, and Latavius Murray. As we know, J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards suffered the ACL injuries. So Lamar outrushing Devonta Freeman by 190 yards with the same amount of attempts with 133. And then the passing attack did make a pretty big improvement, up to 61 yards more per game. So we saw a little extra there. So we're going into 2022. I'm trying to assure this rushing attack will remain solid under Greg Roman, but maybe we'll see a bit of a pop. Depends on how the offensive line looks like, I guess.
I wonder.
It depends on the health of Ronnie Staley. That's it. I mean, that's one of the most significant factors. It's he's their best lineman, and when he plays, he improves them a lot. Trouble is, over the past 2 seasons, he's only played 380 snaps. So if he's there, this line looks great. If he's not there, it looks okay. Tyler Linderbaum should come in, immediately play at center. He looks like a good pick. There was worries about his health. Looks like he is going to play. So week 1, he should be ready. So that's awesome news for Ravens fans. So at that point, there's only really one weakness on that line, and it's their guard, Tyree Phillips. But he's stepping into his 3rd year. He's got a great supporting cast of other offensive linemen around him. So I think there's a lot of potential on this line. There's a depth and an age concern kind of in certain areas, but I think there's a lot of potential, and it could help the Ravens, as long as everybody stays healthy, be kind of back to that Lamar MVP level.
Yeah, boy. Lamar MVP level. You said it all right there, my friend.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. Let me think
Guess who
about
got that ass in a Dynasty startup this year? Let's go.
Who knew? But, okay, all right. I'll stop acting weird. Let's see. So, Lamar, what did he do last year? QB 15 in only 12 games. Oh, that's pretty solid.
Good.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys pulling that off. But, yeah, it was nothing like that 2019 year that he topped out as the number 1, the MVP year. You've mentioned it here.
Slash league winner.
Yes,
fantasy.
#. I won that league that year in a Superflex. I picked up Lamar in like the 10th round or something. It was awesome.
Damn.
Yeah, life's good, He peaked in high school, but here we are. Anyway, Lamar threw 36 touchdowns that year. that he was MVP. But then the number got knocked down to 26 in 2020. Missed a little bit of time. Not quite sure what's going on. Is he going to get back to that 36 touchdown type 2019 season again? It's hard to predict that, especially when you look at how this team is constructed right now. I'll get into the pass catchers later. He's not getting a ton of help, not a ton of love invested in this team. More people leaving than coming as far as talent goes in the wide receiver room. But my big thing is like Lamar's going to be running his ass off, right? Like J.K. Dobbins or Ja'Kalen Dobbins, as I'll start calling him. He was running back 23 in 2020, and that was with only 24 targets and 134 rush attempts. You mentioned the 9 TDs. So obviously he didn't repeat that last year. He missed the whole season, ACL. And he's iffy to be back for week 1, but they expect him to be back. I got to imagine with Gus Edwards still out for week 1, Lamar's going to be just running the ball all over the place. They got to keep Dobbins on a snap count, I would imagine. So
that passed, yeah.
Yeah. So what's up? It's just Lamar City. And then to add insult to injury, they have 247 targets available by my count, and that's counting Hollywood with 146, Sammy Watkins with 47, and Devonta Freeman with 42. So 247 available targets. Now, people are sleeping on Rashad Bateman, especially Christian's calculator there, your draft trade calculator. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was bad. I'm still mad I don't have a share of Rashad Bateman in Dynasty leagues. It's sad. But I think he's going to feast. I think he is like kind of a true number 1 type player. And like now he is. Even if he's not that type of player, he is. He has to be. So I think Lamar's going to use him. He can get open. He's a great route runner. So like that's all kind of Lamar needs. And as long as he's open, he's going to get the looks. And yeah, I'm all in. I would really, really like to get my hands on a Rashad Bateman share.
Yeah, not in any league I have him in. I'll tell you that straight up. But I mean, yeah, I still we watch so much film on guys, but like the Rashad Bateman at the line of scrimmage film is like burned into my mind. I will never forget those freaking jump steps and all that. Oh my God. Yeah, he's going to feast. And he's rocking the same yards per catch that Hollywood was doing. So it's not like he's a huge change for what that role was. So now he's stepping up. You know, he was injured to start his rookie year. And so he had a bit of a slow start. And he ended up being the wide receiver, 69. Only had 67 targets. But yeah, man, like people don't know what's coming for him with this Rashad stuff, man. But still, like, who the hell else is going to catch? Let's just assume he gets 120 targets or something like that. You know, who's going to get those other 200 targets? It's ridiculous.
I think we can skip the wideouts and go straight to tight ends, huh?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, we'll put Devin Duvernay, who's got 73 career targets in 2 years, and you got Prochet. Don't sleep on Tylan Wallace, right? Like, there's still a chance for that to happen. And then, I mean, Mark Andrews, like, what's up, dude? Of course, Mark Andrews, I think, is going to be the number 1. He had 153 targets last year, and it's hard to say that number doesn't go up somehow. Like,
yeah,
it's absurd. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah,
man. So tight end 1. The year before that, he was 6. The year before that, he was 5. This year, he's number 1 again. It's crazy. That's how things happen. But what I really like is, you know, they implemented a 2 tight end type of setup initially with him and Hayden Hurst, and it didn't really work out for Hayden so much. But when I look at Devonta Freeman's 42 targets, and I think about sometimes the tight end can absorb the running back targets, and then I look at the preseason that Isaiah Likely has had, when he caught 12 of 12 balls for 144 yards and a touchdown, like, This guy is electric. We saw what he did at Coastal Carolina.
Hey, shout out Bosco Boomers.
Bosco
Y'all are following
Boomers.
along. That guy made the thumbnail like 3 times.
Yeah,
dog.
man, he's amazing. He's just like a slow wide receiver that plays tight end and has amazing hands and great agility in space. He's gonna kill it, man.
Yeah, and I think they can line him up out wide to a certain extent.
Yeah,
so
that's what he
he
did.
almost becomes like a hybrid tight end to wide receiver to
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman. You can put him all over the field. So I don't think Mark Andrews, whereas like normal teams, you wouldn't want that second tight end on the depth chart. I think Isaiah Likely can be effective for you even with Mark Andrews on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Danny and I are in a dynasty league together, and we're dropping the hammer on the fab for Isaiah Likely as soon as it opens. We're gonna drop like 36% of our fab or some shit.
Dude,
It's beautiful.
Hey man, watch the college tape. He played outside.
Yeah, and they schemed him hard, and it's hard to like. This team has no choice but to scheme the ball to him.
Yeah.
You know? He's going to be definitely. I say there's a fair chance for him to be number 3 in targets on this team as a rookie. I mean, that's a stretch, but it's in the
It
realm
could
of
happen though.
possibilities.
100%.
But yeah, I got him with my fab off the waiver, and then I traded Cole Kmet. I was like, fuck
Yeah.
oh well, I got Isaiah Likely now.
Oh, I mean, yeah, if he's not number 3 in targets on this team, like I hope you have Tylan Wallace because
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
somebody has
Yeah.
to.
Hook 'em
Jesus.
horns. We got you, Duvernay. Let's do this. Texas style.
Oklahoma State Cowboys, bro.
Where did James Prochet go to school? SMU? Anyway. All right. Tell us about the defense, man.
Oh, what was it? Death taxes and whatnot on the
Oh, yeah.
Steelers. It's the same shit. Yeah, I mean, there's not a huge amount of real weaknesses on the Ravens defense. More like areas for improvement, I guess. You look somewhere like inside linebacker, Patrick Queen can be really, really exciting and really, really explosive, but he's just very streaky. He can also miss a lot of plays. So, like, if that's one of the weaknesses that I have to bring up, then you probably have a really good fucking defense, man. Like if I'm talking about a guy being streaky as your worst part, I mean, they could maybe use a little bit more help on the pass rush, but Baltimore is one of those teams that always develops guys. You think Zadarius Smith came out of Baltimore, Matthew Judon came out of Baltimore. Nobody had really heard of these guys before. So, like, I'm not too worried there because they have young guys that they're going to start to develop. And the secondary is going to be a strength. The corners are sick. Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters are still really good. Maybe Marcus Peters on the way downward, but still he doesn't have to be the guy. And then you throw in Kyle Hamilton as a swift army knife in the secondary. Oh, and by the way, that made you forget that they fucking signed Marcus Williams in free agency. So like now they have these super sick safeties. Kyle Hamilton's like their third safety. And so he can use him all over the field, put him in the corner if they need to. This defense is going to be really sick, combined with an offense that's going to choke the life out of you, running it down your throat. Ravens are going to be really good. I don't really have too terribly much else to say.
That's that defensive division, man.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's cap it off, man. Let's get orange on this.
On this
Bitch.
Yeah. Speaking of
Meow.
bees, the Bengals.
These Bengals.
We're talking Zach Taylor. Oh, let's start from the beginning. 2008, 2011, Texas A&M graduate assistant. That was the Big 12 Texas A&M.
Oh.
Not to confuse certain people in the Heezy.
Yeah.
Moving on.
2012.
2012, where he became Miami Dolphins assistant quarterbacks coach. This was Ryan Tannengrill.
Oh, Tannen Grill, motherfucker.
Rookie season, set the rookie record in Miami for passing yards, 3,200. Pretty good. Attempts and completions. Became the first rookie quarterback in Dolphins history to start all the team's games. 2013 to 14, promoted to the quarterbacks coach, because why not? See what he do with Tannehill. Well, it carried on, threw for almost 4,000 yards. His 7,207 passing yards through the first 2 seasons were the 5th most by any quarterback over the course of their first 2 seasons in NFL history. So 2014, Tannehill kept it going. and just did really well. I'll spare the details. 2015, he becomes the interim offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. This in which Taylor spent the last 5 games of the season calling the Miami offensive plays. And Tannehill completes 363 out of 586 yards, a career high, 4,200 yards, 24 touchdowns. Pretty good pass rating of 88.7. And then he decided to go to the University of Cincinnati to be the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Then he goes on to the Los Angeles Rams, 2017, brought on by first-year head coach Sean McVay to be an assistant wide receivers coach. A young receiver core, or a rookie by the name of Cooper Kupp, who did pretty good. Had a team high of 869 yards on that team. Nothing too special. 2018, he becomes the quarterback coach for the LA Rams. This is Jared Goff's career highs in every major passing category.
Until this year.
Okay, you're calling the shot. All right. That's funny. Did you pick Rodgers or Goff for NFC North? Okay, anyway. Los Angeles won the NFC West and then advanced to the Super Bowl against the Patriots and did not win. Gets hired as a head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. 2019, picking number 1 overall pick Joe Burrow.
Ooh.
Doesn't really work out after the hashtag they didn't keep Joe Burrow upright.
They fucked it.
But despite that, Taylor helped Burrow to one of the most productive starts to a career by a QB in the NFL. Before the knee injury in season after 10 games, Burrow, 264 completions were the most ever by an NFL quarterback through their first 10 career games. And that adds to attempts and whatnot. So then we got 2021. The Cinderella team, the Cincinnati Bengals, make their way all the way to the Super Bowl, surprising with a win over the Chiefs. I still don't understand how that happened.
×2.
But we saw Joe Burrow breakout year where he set the record for passing yardage, 4,600 yards, TD passes, 34, and a pass rating of 108.3, as well as the AP NFL Comeback Player of the Year, because he had to be.
Sure.
Also, we saw a rise out of first-year wide receiver Jamar Chase, who they took over someone the likes of Penei Sewell, which left most people baffled, but I think it worked out. Posted the most receiving yards by a rookie in a Super Bowl era, 1,455. And he also won the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Not too bad.
No Penei Sewell. Pretty good receiving core. How's the line look now?
Well, they're going after the Kansas City model of rebuilding the offensive line in 1 year. I don't think they've done necessarily as good of a job as Kansas City did, but they jump all the way from 20th ranked last year at the end to 8th ranked to start the preseason. So that's a really good jump. They did it through free agency. They went after a center, a right guard, and a right tackle, Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, and Lyle Collins. There is a fair criticism that this is kind of a makeshift offensive line of good players and then an injury-prone superstar in Lyle Collins. So what are you going to get in him? And I think that's fair. So there's a chance that this does go south, like it doesn't work. But I'm actually firmly in the camp that I think it works because I think these guys are all solid players. Kappa and Karras are solid, consistent players, and that's all Burrow really needs. We saw what he did with a bad offensive line. Just give him a little more time to be solid, and you'll be all right. And then as long as Lyle Collins is healthy, he's a superstar. So then you add that to the potential growth of Jonah Williams and Jackson Carman. I mean, yeah, there's a chance it doesn't work, but I'm going to be optimistic. I think this offensive line does improve. I think it has the potential to be a top 10 offensive line. And with Joe Burrow having a passing grade from PFF of 94.6 in a clean pocket, that's out of 100, the sky is the limit for this offense. So if it works, this offense is going to pop off. And they already did last year. So that's what I mean. It's going to be even crazier.
Oh, man. How does it get crazier?
Sky's the limit, 100%. You heard it here first.
For sure. What was I saying? I listened to last week's episode. I said red zone monster a lot, like 20 times. So I got my thing out there. But ironically, we don't really have a ton of red zone monsters really on this team. You know, we're talking about Joe Burrow, right? 34 touchdowns thrown. Only 16 of those were in the red zone, which means like this guy's dropping long bombs to his healthy wide receivers. These guys are out of control, man. So that's pretty exciting. I'm into it. But yeah, the sky's the limit when it comes to Joe Burrow because he got that offensive line revamped and he's ready to kick ass. I mean, I'm excited. I don't think there's anything to really be too worried about as far as Joe Burrow. So I'll just leave that as it were and move straight on to Joe Mixon, who all right, well, let me get my actual notes out here, guys. I'm not just gonna riff the whole time. Although I could, and I do. All right, Joey B was the quarterback 8 last year. That's all you need to know. He's headed in an upward direction. Although I do want to point out that these guys really had a nice season off the back of a pretty easy schedule. You know what I mean? Coming in.
You're calling that Brown shit.
Yeah, a couple of years back when the Browns had an easy schedule from being 4th in division, and then they came in and made it work. They might have been 3rd in the division when they did it. So they're going to be facing some aggressive teams when it comes to the likes of the Bills and the Chiefs and the Titans.
But weren't they a wild card team? So they're not going to have to face those guys necessarily.
Oh, they didn't
because they didn't win their division.
Oh,
nice.
Snap Daddy.
Damn it. All right. Well, still, it's going to be tougher competition. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It will be a step up. They did have a very easy schedule, but
and they got a
quite
target
that
on their
hard.
backs.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, they're going to have a rough year. Not rough. Competitive.
Right. Yes, yeah. And Evan McPherson had 5 game-winning field goals, including 2 walk-offs. So that's kind of luck. That's like a razor's edge. You know, you could have easily lost those 5 games and not made the playoffs, huh? What a world that'd be. The Chiefs would have won the Super Bowl.
Oh no, they played the Bills, the Bucks, the Titans, the Chiefs.
Oh, so they do play everybody.
Woo!
Damn.
But they
tough.
didn't win that division. Oh, well.
They must have won that division if that's.
They must have. I just must have it wrong. Yeah, because Pittsburgh would have been the wild card team, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because they snuck in to play the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Yep.
never mind. Yep. Never mind.
It's easy to assume they didn't win the division, though.
Yeah.
This division had a rough year last year, except for the Bengals, who squeaked into the playoffs barely. So, but all right. So I brought up the red zone TD numbers as being less than half of Burrow's touchdowns, which I thought that was a little surprising. It makes sense when you think of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Like these guys, they can get under it. They can get separation. They can score a long ball. But what it really opens the door for is Joe Mixon, who was tied for 11th in red zone touches with 39. So he had 13 touchdowns last year. That's pretty impressive. Finished the year, his best year, as the running back 4. And the more the offense moves, the more he has the opportunity. No one's stacking the box against Joe Mixon when you're facing this wide receiver room. And then the O-line gets improved. You're talking
it's going to be the best line he's played with.
Yeah. There's some of the guys you mentioned, Collins coming in, like these have supported some monster running backs in their past. So I'm looking for it to be a good year for Mixon again. Probably, man.
Please and thank you. Please, all the
bet.
Bengals offense. I'm on board. Let's get it.
Hell yeah, man. So T. Higgins was the wide receiver 24 last year. The work is going well for him. Tyler Boyd, only 27 years old. He's not as old as you guys think he is. He was a wide receiver 31. He's wide receiver 16 in 2018. I think we'll remember that year. Should have started the Atlanta defense. But pretty much triple-digit targets for all these guys. Only 94 for Boyd, but I like to round up when you're that close. And then now Hayden Hurst is added into the room. So here we go. Tight end 41 last year, topped out at tight end 9 in 2020. What if anything, do we picture? Is he a blocking tight end at this point? Like he might
Hayden
get
Hurst?
he might get them cheap looks.
I don't know, man. CJ Uzama had his career high in receiving yards last year, and Hurst is like a more receiving threat than him.
All right, he's in it.
I don't
You heard
know.
it here first. I'm all for it, dude. I'm not gonna argue with just the Hayden Hurst thing, man.
I mean, I don't think he's going to be like a superstar, but I think he could get you 10 points here and there and be fairly consistent at it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to pick him up then. Sorry, I'm doing my own personal fantasy research at this point.
No, you're good. Sorry, I meant to jump in with the receivers, or did we just go to the tight ends? Sorry, I got a work call. It fucked me up.
Yeah, you can talk about it. I talked briefly just about how they all kicked ass and
Oh, okay,
more of the
gotcha.
same's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah, that's right. I remember you talking about Higgins now. Okay, my bad. Sorry. I just had, and I know we're not a redraft podcast, but sorry specifically to AJ. I think Jamar Chase has a better season than Justin Jefferson, and I think the people that can get him after somebody takes Justin Jefferson in a redraft league, I think you should be very happy. Like you pointed it out last week, Dan, that like everyone's talking about them being like a pass first offense now. And it's like, how much more can he physically get and be that effective? Whereas like, I don't know, like a better offensive line, more time for Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase already had a better rookie season than Justin Jefferson. What's to say you can't like top him in the sophomore year too?
Oh, wow. Are we really going to try to compare Kirk Cousins to Joe Burrow?
Well, that's kind of my point. Like,
Whoa,
that's my
dude.
point. Like,
Oh, this is fun.
Come on. Joe Burrow
I
couldn't
don't
even
know.
hack it in the Big Ten like Kirk. Come
Oh,
on,
God.
man.
That's funny. Had to
I don't
ship
know.
him out to the SEC.
I'm just
Yeah.
I'm a big Jamar Chase fan. I think when we get into the who's the best wide receiver conversation, once we do that, I think that's going to be a fun conversation.
Segue.
I'll probably
Hey,
have to
You're
concede
the
Jefferson.
you're the one who said Hayden Hurst is
Right.
going to come out and kick ass. So, I mean, that's
I
a lot of
didn't say
mouths
he
to
was gonna
feed.
kick ass.
That's just what I heard.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
can
saying
match
that's what you
that.
said. I'm saying that's what I heard.
He can match that Uzama with 63 targets or whatever. He can match that.
493 yards. That's not bad. That'd be fine. Couple touchdowns.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
I don't know. I'm excited for the Bengals offense regardless.
Oh yeah, hard not to be.
So I
Crazy
guess-
not to be.
Are we going into the defense?
Yeah.
Yeah, we absolutely can. You remember the 2021 Bengals defense?
Nope.
It's that.
Oh,
They brought back
Eli
every
Apple's
single.
still there.
Yep, they brought back every single starter from the Super Bowl, and all of them are probably going to keep their starting positions. So that's what it is.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, they're going to be good. I think in a second year, after kind of developing, Trey Hendrickson is great. They have a really good core in the secondary. They're going to be above average and kind of fantasy relevant if you get the right matchups, but not consistent enough to me. They're just going to be up and down, just like they kind of were last year. I just don't see. I see improvement because they're going to be in that system again, and they're going to be just together. But other than that, I don't see like some huge leap. They didn't add some special piece that's going to make them that much different.
Yeah, so they're going to be terrible in the first half and absolutely shut down in the second half.
Hey,
Hey.
Amen.
if it works, it works.
I guess the Eli Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Hey. I don't know, man. Maybe they bring Burfict back. Really round out that linebacker group.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
I just wanted to shut it all the way down.
There
Did
you
it
go.
work? Did I do it? I did it.
Well, I think that's a wrap on the AFC North, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So perhaps maybe we should just end it here and then go into, you guys can watch our next episode, which would be the division shakedown of rankings.
Oh,
That'll come out. I think we'll put it out on maybe Saturday and maybe ignore the fact that we might be in the same outfits.
Yeah, I should have brought the David Bell shirt anyway.
Damn.
Mistakes have been made.
Or the Bateman. Come on, man.
Or the Bateman.
You had
Damn,
options.
dude. Damn.
You had many options.
I had miniature options. Oh, well. I'll be wearing those shirts throughout the season. Believe
Let's
you
do it.
me.
I need to get more shirts like that because it would be nice to rep some shirts, but not drop $120 on a jersey.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude,
agreed.
you gotta get the breaking tees. I think that's like they've got a bunch of weird one-off
Yeah,
shirts.
just
yeah.
random ass shirts. I'm down.
That's where I got
Oh,
the
yeah.
ring.
Also,
ring
sponsor
bell.
the podcast breaking
Yeah, what I'm
tees. What the
talking
fuck?
about.
Free
Yeah.
advertisement. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. Free advertisement, and then you just give us a shirt a year.
Just
That's all
enter
you
the
gotta give
promo
us.
code
We'll do it for
RDR.
shirts. We
We
know.
will
Yeah.
do it.
We know what you
Literally
get that
do it
shit
for
at cost
shirts.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enter the promo code RDR, and they'll be like, "Who's RDR?" And then they'll
Hey, if
find
we can
us.
get everybody to enter that might be pretty cool.
No,
be
but
like-
like,
All 60 of us.
there's
Yeah.
no. It just returns an error. It doesn't tell the company that
Yeah. And then
they're typing in this.
all right. Well, let's get into
Email them.
Yeah, please do. All right, well, that's a wrap.
All right.
Enjoy life.